And welcome back, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in as always. I appreciate that. And today I would like to do a review of Dark Souls 2. Now, Dark Souls 2 is actually the third game in the Souls series after Demon's Souls and Dark Souls. For those who don't know, these games offer a challenging RPG experience with some really nice graphics and some really interesting lore that's sort of hidden in all the little things that you'll see in this game. Now, the gameplay focuses on navigating levels, looting items, and learning the moves of your enemies and killing bosses. That's really what the game is all about. Now, Dark Souls 2 is way more accessible than its predecessor, Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 actually comes with a tutorial, and there are a lot more healing items to be found and used in this game. There's also more save points in the game, the so-called bonfires you can light, and they're never far away. There are also numerous NPCs you can summon to help you out with the more tougher enemies and bosses. So this game feels more like it's catered to the masses, and you can't skip that stuff. For instance, you don't have to use the NPCs. You don't have to use the save points, right? But still, it has lost some of its charm, you know, the sense of accomplishment, of reward, when you have limited resources and you still was able to kill the boss and get to the next bonfire. Now, what about the looks of the game? Now, I personally prefer the more gloomy atmosphere of Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 2 opts for a more colorful look and has some really, really beautiful locations. I mean, all the stuff you'll see in the game, you can actually go to and visit that distant castle. You know you're going to go there and make your way through the castle. And it's just amazing. But there are also a bunch of unremarkable levels thrown in, and together they don't make a cohesive whole, I think. The game feels disjointed in terms of design. And that was really different in Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 had a distinctive design, it was a distinctive place where you go through all the different levels that seem to fit together. Also, leveling in Dark Souls 2, I think, is broken actually, because within hours I reached level 30, level 40, level 50, and I ended the game in the hundreds. Even so, the effect of leveling seems even less prominent here in Dark Souls 2 than in the previous game. I mean, Dark Souls was never about the leveling, actually. It was ultimately a game about outsmarting the enemy AI and learning their moves and dissipating. And that is still very much the core of the game, and that core is actually quite good. The game just plays great. It controls well. But the bosses, because they are I think the most important thing about Dark Souls are the bosses, right? Also, the bosses, they feel too similar to the ones you can find in Dark Souls 1. They usually have similar move sets, and the old strategies, like circling and rolling, they still work. Some of the bosses are actually quite easy to beat, but other times the game throws multiple enemies and multiple bosses at you, and it becomes kind of a chaos. And I think that more enemies equals not better gameplay. Also, in normal game, I was disappointed with the loot. Once I've settled for certain armor, for instance, and start upgrading that, there's really no reason to wear anything else, because you've outleveled most of the stuff that you'll find later on, or you can buy in the game. Also, in Dark Souls 1, some of the loot was location specific. Like, for instance, finding a nice leather armor with a high resistance to toxic you could find in a place where you actually needed that. In Dark Souls 2, the loot just feels randomly placed. Now there's also multiplayer, and I actually like the multiplayer in the Dark Souls games, and the connection problems that I had in Dark Souls 1, they're gone in Dark Souls 2, so it's easy to connect to other players in other worlds, so you can invade other worlds of other players and try and kill them. Also, you can join numerous convenants. So, for instance, you can be summoned to defend a certain location from invading players. But ultimately, I found the experience in Dark Souls 2, the multiplayer, unbalanced, as the game pits you against multiple higher level players. That happened a lot, and they would just destroy me. I mean, what's fair about me alone fighting two other guys that can actually heal, and I can't heal? I cannot use any healing items. Now, this might be an exploit or a cheat, I don't know, but I just did not like the experience very much. It felt unbalanced, it felt unfair. Now, all in all, does this mean that Dark Souls 2 is a bad game? No, definitely not, because the core gameplay is still highly enjoyable, and that's what makes this game a great game to play. It is a very enjoyable game. But I'm critical here because the first game was so well designed, so well rounded, so balanced, and it was just amazing. And the second game just falls a bit flat. But again, you know, it's a nice entry to the series. If you found Dark Souls 1 too punishing, too challenging, you know, you could start playing Dark Souls 2 and have a great experience. And you can sort of cater yourself to the difficulty by using more NPCs or by using a lot more healing items and other stuff. So that's what I think about Dark Souls 2. So let me know what you think. Now, see you in the next video. Hope you liked it. Subscribe, and until next time.